Hi guys, Marvin here from TechBroll.com, where we do unboxings, reviews, and sexy B-rolls. And today we're going to do an unboxing review of the CoolerMaster MM710, MM711, and the special edition red and gold MM711. With that being said, let's get into it. So right here we have the MM710, the MM711 white version, and we have a special one right here. So we're going to unbox all of these and see how they differ with each other, especially the difference between the MM710 and the MM711. Let's start with these two, shall we? Alright guys, here's the packaging for the CoolerMaster MM710. This has been out for a while now, but is still one of the best options for an ultralight gaming mouse out in the market because of its unique form factor and subtle design elements. So it only weighs 53 grams, which is one of the lightest mainstream gaming mice out there, and that is because it doesn't have any RGB or any unnecessary design elements, just pure performance. What we have here is the matte black version, and in comparison with the MM711, it is lighter by 7 grams, but the MM711 features fancy RGB lighting and essentially they are just the same in terms of design and form factor. Right here we have the MM711 matte white version. Now at the back of these boxes, we have all the key features and specifications. So they are both lightweight with basically the same honeycomb design, both ambidextrous, and the only difference really is that the MM711 has RGB illumination. They have the same sensor, same mouse feet, and the same build and construction. Alright, so let's see what comes in the package of the CoolerMaster MM710 first. Upon opening the box, we're greeted by the mouse itself. Let me just take it out for a second. And then we have some replacement mouse gliders here which are made of PTFE material. And lastly, we have the user manual right here in different languages. And that's it, we don't have anything else inside the box. Alright, now let's take a closer look at the CoolerMaster MM710. Right here, we have a nice matte texture that is somehow fingerprint resistant. And then we have the two mouse clickers which are actually Omron switches. And then we have the honeycomb design which is quite popular nowadays. And the scroll wheel, the DPI button, and a very subtle CoolerMaster logo here at the rear end. On the left side of the mouse, we have the same honeycomb design but on one side only and the forward and back buttons. Flipping it at the back, we can see the symmetrical shape because this is an ambidextrous mouse. And then on the other side, we have the same honeycomb design. At the bottom, we have the 3 PTFE mouse gliders, holes again for the honeycomb design, the sensor, and the serial number and the specific model name right here. Lastly, here's how it looks in front. So as you can tell, the form factor in terms of height or bump is quite short, which I personally prefer. As for the cable, like with any other recent ultralight gaming mouse out there, it is using paracord cable, which CoolerMaster calls ultra weave cable with a length of 1.8 meter and is very flexible and without much drag. In terms of build quality, although super lightweight, it feels sturdy enough with hard plastic materials, and the side is also quite robust as well. The Omron switches on this mouse are rated up to 20 million clicks, and the scroll wheel feels really snappy and stable. The DPI button is also easily reachable, and for my relatively small hands, this is perfect. Alright, so let's put it on the side for a while and let's see what comes in the package of the CoolerMaster MM711. Like I said, the only significant difference of this from the older MM710 is that it has RGB illumination, thus it is a little bit heavier. So yeah, other than that, pretty much the same in terms of overall specifications. So let's see what comes in the package. Alright, so it's the same thing with the mouse, replacement PTFE gliders, and a user manual, though this one is significantly larger than what the MM710 has with more details in different languages. Now, let's take a look at the CoolerMaster MM711 matte white version. Like the MM710, it also has this nice matte texture that I really like, with the same honeycomb design, same clicky Omron switches, satisfying scroll wheel, easily reachable DPI button, and a very subtle logo. On the left side, pretty much the same thing as well as the overall ambidextrous shape and bump size. Even at the bottom, it's basically the same thing with the same PMW3389 sensor. Even the cables are essentially the same. And like I said, this one has RGB illumination, so there is a translucent lining around the scroll wheel, so that's one difference in terms of design. And we also have a plastic diffuser here on the rear end of the CoolerMaster MM711, which the MM710 obviously doesn't have. And that's about it when it comes to the differences between these two mice. So basically, if you're going to choose between these two, if you don't need RGB, then settle for the MM710 as it is also cheaper. But if you want RGB illumination, of course, go ahead and get the MM711. Either of the two is a good choice for an ultralight gaming mouse. You also have to consider, by the way, the difference in weight. If the 7 grams difference is that significant to you, then that should also be considered. Alright, now, finally, let's take a look at a very special edition CoolerMaster MM711. This is just a gift from CoolerMaster, so as you can see, it has a quite generic black box. However, what we have inside is no ordinary gaming mouse. Are you ready? Alright, so upon opening the box, we're greeted by the mouse itself protected by this nice velvet pouch, making it feel special. Let me just take it out for a second as we take a look at what else we have inside the package. Yep, basically the same thing. We have some replacement PTFE gliders and a user manual. Enough about the packaging, let's check out the mouse itself. Now, this red velvet pouch feels really good and adds a little bit of premium feel to the mouse, which is very nice. Alright, let's check it out, guys. I'm not gonna lie, this looks really dope and the paint job is nice with this one. And there you go. Wow, this looks really dope, guys. I know it's just a custom paint job, but man, the gold body with red accents on the scroll wheel, DPI button and forward and back buttons looks really good, and I think this will perfectly match my current desk setup with a sort of wooden theme, and I think this should fit right in. In terms of the design and overall construction though, it is basically the same thing as a regular CoolerMaster MM711. But it definitely looks dang good, isn't it? Let me know in the comments below what you think about it. Now, I'm not sure if this is available for purchase or if there are any other colorway of the CoolerMaster MM711, but if there is, then you should probably consider getting one. Overall, this 3 ultralight gaming mouse from CoolerMaster is a decent option if you want to get aboard the ultralight hype. And now, of course, this video wouldn't be complete if I didn't test this out, right? So let's proceed with the review. In terms of comfort, like I said, the CoolerMaster MM710 and MM711 is unique in the sense that it is relatively smaller in footprint compared to most ultralight gaming mouse out in the market. The overall size is small, the bump is short, and should be ideal for claw grip, palm, and fingertip users like me. All the buttons are super crisp, even the forward and back buttons on the side, which are also easy to reach by the way. The scroll wheel is I think one of the best that I've tried, which is super stable and has strong and defined notches to it and crispy click. The DPI button is also easily reachable without having to adjust your grip, which is very vital as you can also configure it for other functions that might be useful in-game. Like I said, the shape is ambidextrous, so left-handed users can definitely use this, though the forward and back buttons of course will be on the other side. In terms of comfort, this mouse being extra lightweight at 60 grams and with a balanced shape, it is very comfortable and easily the most comfortable mouse that I've tried, especially for the size of my hands, except maybe for the right side since the holes kinda irritate my pinky finger. On the other side, I'd say it doesn't click that easily, and unless you put an extreme amount of force, it is a pass for me. So yeah, in terms of the shape, the buttons, and the overall size, this is absolutely perfect for my hands, and with the special edition red and gold colorway, it perfectly matches my desk setup. Now at the back, like I said, it has PTFE gliders, so the friction is relatively smooth with this one, and with a PMW3389 sensor, that alone should give us an idea that the CoolerMaster MM710 and the MM711 should perform very good for gaming, as we've seen from other gaming mice that also use the same sensor. Alright, before we move on, here's a quick sound test for you guys. And lastly, before we test this for gaming, the paracord cable, also known as ultra wave cable, is pretty good. It is soft, flexible, and basically no drag at all. Alright guys, in terms of gaming performance, as expected, the CoolerMaster MM711 performed really well. I didn't encounter any issue at all when it comes to raw performance. The PMW3389 sensor is very accurate and doesn't spin out, and I tested this at 800 dpi since this is where I am comfortable at, and I'd say the performance is really good. The Omron switches are also quite satisfying with the crispy click and lightweight actuation force required. Now, if there's one thing that I can say I don't like about this mouse, it would be in terms of comfort on the right side. Like I said, the honeycomb holes on the right side are quite irritating to my pinky finger, and I feel like it could cause some blisters when gaming for a prolonged period of time. It certainly does help with the grip, but my finger digs deep into the hole that it gets uncomfortable. I'll probably put some tape on it or some sort of cover. Other than that, I have no other problems with the CoolerMaster MM711. Alright, so to complete this review, let's check out the Rgb lighting and the software. The CoolerMaster MM711 has RGB illumination on both the DPI button and at the rear end of the mouse. And here are all the lighting effects available. As for the software, it is quite customizable, like you can pretty much change the function of all the buttons here. You can disable the button, change it to a mouse function, key combinations, macro, multimedia shortcuts, rapid fire, profile change, DPI adjustments, and use it to disable the sensor for some reason. Aside from that, we also have here the mouse combo option, wherein you can set different button combinations alongside the DPI button to trigger different functions. Like for example here, I set the forward button to a calculator. So if I press the forward button alongside the DPI button, it will launch the Windows calculator, which may come in handy depending on how you prefer to use it. We also have here the lighting tab, wherein you can set different lighting effects like what I showed you earlier, and you also have the option to set different colors individually between the DPI button and the rear end of the mouse. You can also adjust here the speed of the animation and the brightness. As for the performance tab, this is where you can set your DPI adjustment settings in an increment of 100. You can also change here the polling rate, angle snapping, and other functions, and you also have here the surface tuning, which is useful to properly take advantage of the PMW3389 sensor. Next, we have the macro tab, wherein of course you can set different macros, and lastly, we have the profiles tab, wherein you can set different profiles for different types of applications. Alright, so to conclude, both the CoolerMaster MM710 and MM711 is a great option if you're looking for a decent ultralight gaming mouse, most importantly if you're looking for something smaller, ambidextrous, and has a quite neutral design language. Comfort-wise, it is good since it is lightweight and with a balanced shape. However, like I said, the right side could cause some irritation on the pinky finger, at least for my experience. Your mileage may vary of course, but just in case, that can easily be fixed by an aftermarket side grip or some sort of patch. Other than that, the performance is really good, the shape is absolutely perfect for my hands, and with that, this is going to be my main gaming mouse starting from now until a better one comes in. And there you have it guys, thank you for watching. Make sure to check the full article link below. Thanks to CoolerMaster for sending this in and for their continued support on this channel. You can get these gaming mice from their partner stores, link below as well. Thank you for watching, subscribe if you like this, and see you next time. Have a great day.